This is so insane. It's so insane. I'm literally driving down the gravel parkway and the Washington Monument is right in front of me.
This is the story of how the Smithsonian paid me to build, ride, and crash on the only mountain bike trail ever constructed on the National Mall, right in front of the Washington Monument. This is by far the coolest thing to ever happen to me. But when you're building on America's most cherished national park, you come to realize pretty quickly there are lots of challenges that come along with that. So let's get into why in the world the Smithsonian would even want me to build a mountain bike trail on the National Mall.
Hi, Seth.
What's going on?
Well, I'm trying to figure that out myself.
This is Arlene, Christina, Tyler, and Pablo. Just a fraction of the people that helped create the Smithsonian Folklife Festival held every year in Washington, D.C. around the 4th of July. The event goes for 2 weeks, and every year it focuses on a different region or culture to showcase the various different aspects of it. This year, part of the festival was focused on the Ozark region. So they got some of the coolest people from the area, which somehow included us. And if we look at the Ozark map a little deeper, you'll see why they included mountain biking. Notice Bentonville is part of the Ozarks, which is the self-proclaimed mountain bike capital of the world, along with various other amazing bike spaces. So it made sense when they asked myself and Derek, the owner of Reserve Concepts, an Ozark trail building company, to come build out on the lawn. But we had a few obstacles we'd have to overcome if we were going to build this close to the Washington Monument and the president's backyard. Number one was nothing could be attached to the ground, which is very hard to do with wooden features. Number two was we couldn't build here, or within 20 plus feet of any tree in the park. And the worst of them was number three. We weren't allowed to use dirt at all. So that meant Derek no longer had a reason to attend the festival, and it would be up to me alone to build the 100-foot plus long trail out of wood, which I was pretty sure I couldn't do in the 5 days they gave me to do it in. But I couldn't pass up this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity without at least trying. So I designed the entire trail ahead of time in SketchUp, and this is what I came up with for the space. From there, I gathered my tools, started the 13-hour drive, and just hoped that I could get the trail built on time.
The nerves are hitting. Holy moly. It is just pouring. Tomorrow's the big day. Tomorrow's when we start building this thing. I'm beyond excited. It keeps like getting more and more crazy feeling to me as I let it settle in that I'm building a mountain bike feature at the National Mall.
All right, we are here. I am gonna measure out where everything needs to go. But yeah, day one. Look at that.
For this project, the first thing I really wanted to do was walk around the site with Tyler and mark out all the areas I couldn't build on. Once we had all those laid out, then I could go around and mark where the trail was actually going to go. The day prior to this, I was told I would have access to a few very skilled carpenters, so I went ahead and turned my CAD plans into blueprints so that they could help me build the individual pieces for the ramp while I would assemble them out on the lawn. Since we couldn't attach to the ground, I designed the feature into sections. The brace on the bottom would keep the legs from moving side to side, and later on, we'd brace each section together. So while I got the rest of my markings on the ground, Julius and Holly started building the individual sections. Within just an hour, these guys had already put together half of the sections I needed for the project, so I got to work assembling them out on the mall. Now, normally I wouldn't make these little slices of wood, but again, nothing could be attached to the ground, so every piece needed to be tied together on the front and the back. And as I was dealing with that problem, I ran into a new one.
We're mostly done with the thing. We've just got one last berm to do, but we have run into a dilemma. We can't move these sandbags apparently. We're not supposed to anyway. But the guy who runs this whole thing told me, do it and just ask for forgiveness later. So that's what we're gonna do.
Honestly, I was pretty on edge about the sandbags the rest of this build. If somebody said we had to move them back, then that would have meant disassembling the entire second half of the feature, which wouldn't have been fun. And while I was worrying about that, we finally had our starting point of the feature arrive, so that was good news. This 55-foot trailer would be where we'd start inside of to gain the speed up for jumping the ramp. And after getting that set in place, I pushed to get the rest of the features sections put together. The feature was really starting to take shape now that I had all my sections linked together. The next step was to cut out our ramp radius into some boards so we could assemble the ramp and attach it to the trailer.
Mountain bike trail. Mountain bike trail, yeah.
What are you making here?
Like lights out of there or what?
Excuse me.
I got asked questions non-stop while I was building this thing, and I couldn't help but say something about it in this video. I mainly just thought it was funny and not something I'm used to since I'm normally out in the woods, but it happened enough to where it was legitimately slowing down the build process. And if it wasn't people talking to me, then it was something else stopping me.
Okay. Well, we were gonna finish today, but I just got the call that we have a massive storm coming, as you can probably see now in the background, right there. Gotta pack my tools up and get the hell out of here.
With half my day cut because of the storm and the next morning taken up by a meeting, I had only 8 hours left to finish this entire thing. So I kind of just assumed it wasn't going to be done on time. This is literally me texting everyone saying I can't get it done. But in the middle of texting, Matt, another carpenter, drove up and told me everyone was coming over to help me finish. And with that information, I immediately had Matt start cutting out the 200 plus deck boards we needed, and then Julius and Gus began attaching them. Making really great time and still had about 4 hours left of daylight. But then the ultimate talking distraction happened.
Hey, I'm Leon. The Folklife Festival is always a celebration of culture, and this year looking inward to the Ozark Mountains, which is Missouri, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Kansas. It opens up tomorrow, but we've been here all afternoon making friends and checking things out. Of course, you've got the food, the music, the culture at the Folklife Festival, but I think this might be the first time there's a mountain bike trail on the National Mall. Seth from Backyard Trail Builds in St. Louis, Missouri. How's it going?
It's going great. How you doing?
What is happening here?
So the Smithsonian had me come out to build an entire mountain bike trail out here on the lawn.
As cool as it was being on the news, I really didn't have time for it. So as soon as I got done with them, we got right back to work.
And the final touch, gapperize the ramp. I'm just gonna chop it off, make a gap out of this, and then tomorrow starts the festival, and we'll ride this thing. Whew. I'm so tired. Alright, let's cut this and yeah, come back tomorrow.
I built this little section because I really wasn't sure if I had enough speed to make it to the landing. And even with test laps, I still wasn't sure.
I need a lot of speed. I can't get enough speed.
But I just figured I'd pedal extra hard during the festival and pray that I wouldn't crash in front of hundreds of people.
Okay, and we're done.
There were loads of people that came out to the festival. It was really crazy and amazing, and I was so honored to be a part of it. But I will say, I really underestimated how much this festival would take it out of me. Thankfully, my buddy Dave Coolio from Gort Gravity joined me and soaked up a lot of the talking that was necessary. But having to talk all day long, even though half as much with Dave, still totally drained me. I'm an introvert who likes to be in the woods, so I'm not used to talking to people all day like this. And on top of that, we had to do several shows throughout the day where we would do a small talk and then ride the feature twice, which was both mentally draining and physically draining, which led to some pretty sketchy riding that you'll see. All that said though, the positives of this event far outweighed the negative ones. I would do this event every year if I were given the chance. And now, let's make history and be the first people ever to jump a mountain bike trail in America's front yard.
Ready? All right, you can't see me, but we're about to do a big show. Lots of people here. But yeah, so far so good. I have a small favor to ask. If you like this video or any others of mine, it would mean the world to me if you would subscribe. It doesn't seem like a lot, but it really does tons for the channel, and it just helps me make bigger and better videos each time I put one out. So if you want to help me out, go ahead and subscribe and just keep watching this video. Thank you.
Thanks everyone, thank you for coming.
This really was an honor to get to be a part of such a cool event. I don't know if anything will ever top building a bike trail by the Washington Monument and President's backyard. It was truly an amazing experience, and I just really want to say thank you to all of those involved in making the Smithsonian Folklife Festival happen every year and helping me be a part of it. And thank you for watching this video. I'll see you next time.